Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Today, St. Augustine is going to be talking more about overcoming his lustful ways, so I would caution about having young ears in the vicinity. We must talk about these things because they are real struggles for people, and to ignore them is not helpful. We all know someone that struggles with lust. It may even be ourselves. So let's turn to Book 10, Chapter 30 on page 233. It is truly your command that I should be continent and restrain myself from gratification of corrupt nature, gratification of the eye, the empty pomp of living. You commanded me not to commit fornication, and though you did not forbid me to marry, you counseled me to take a better course. You gave me the grace, and I did your bidding, even before I became a minister of your sacrament. But in my memory, of which I have said much, the images of things imprinted upon it by my former habits still linger on. When I am awake, they obtrude themselves upon me, though with little strength. But when I dream, they not only give me pleasure, but are very much like acquiescence in the act. The power which these illusionary images have over my soul and my body is so great that what is no more than a vision can influence me in sleep in a way that the reality cannot do when I am awake. Surely it cannot be that when I am asleep I am not myself, O Lord my God. And yet the moment when I pass from wakefulness to sleep, or return again from sleep to wakefulness, marks a great difference in me. During sleep, where is my reason which, when I am awake, resists such suggestions and remains firm and undismayed even in face of the realities themselves? Is it sealed off when I close my eyes? Does it fall asleep with the senses of the body? And why is it that even in sleep I often resist the attractions of these images, for I remember my chaste resolutions and abide by them and give no consent to temptations of this sort? Yet the difference between waking and sleeping is so great that even when, during sleep, it happens otherwise, I return to a clear conscience when I wake and realize that, because of this difference, I was not responsible for the act, although I am sorry that by some means or other it happened to me. The power of your hand, O God Almighty, is indeed great enough to cure all the diseases of my soul. By granting me more abundant grace, you can even quench the fire of sensuality which provokes me in my sleep. More and more, O Lord, you will increase your gifts in me, so that my soul may follow me to you, freed from the concupiscence which binds it, and rebel no more against itself. By your grace it will no longer commit in sleep these shameful, unclean acts inspired by sensual images, which lead to the pollution of the body. It will not so much as consent to them. For to you, the Almighty, who are powerful enough to carry out your purpose beyond all our hopes and dreams, it is no great task to prescribe that no temptations of this kind, even such slight temptations as can be checked by the least act of will, should arouse pleasure in me, even in sleep, provided that my dispositions are chaste. This you can do for me at any time of life, even in the prime of manhood. But now I make this confession to my good Lord, declaring how I am still troubled by this kind of evil. With awe in my heart, I rejoice in your gifts, yet I grieve for my deficiencies, trusting that you will perfect your mercies in me until I reach the fullness of peace, which I shall enjoy with you in soul and body, when death is swallowed up in victory. For several readings now, we have heard St. Augustine talk about the memory and how things are stored, can be retrieved, and even sometimes buried so deep within the folds of our mind that they seem to be forgotten. Lustful images, however, are rarely one of those things that get buried and nearly forgotten. I would imagine we all have at least some of those images in our mind, whether we willingly put them there or not. You've been exposed through movies, TV shows, magazines, the internet, even songs. Good grief, if you just drive around Vegas like I used to when we lived there, the billboards can be awful. So we all have these images, unfortunately, and some people have loads of images because of looking at pornography or engaging in other sexual sins. Now, I'm not here to wag my finger, pretend that I have a squeaky clean past. I have not. But we can't fix anything unless we acknowledge it. Sexual sins have a way of staying front and center in our minds because of the pleasure factor, which can make them very hard to overcome. We see here with St. Augustine that even when he sleeps, he is sometimes dealing with the images that make it very difficult for him. So, what do? Well, number one, we need to confess them. Unconfessed sins, even ones we regret, can still bind us in chains. And remember, if you're worried about going and telling a priest these things, you don't have to go into great detail. You just need to tell what kind of sin, pretty much how often you are committing it. You don't have to go into detail and give all the dirty little ins and outs of things. Priest doesn't need to hear that. He just needs to know what kinds of sin it is. Number two, we need to remove occasions of sin to the best of our ability. If you are someone that struggles with pornography or going to, say, strip clubs or something of that nature, you may have to refrain from going on a girls' trip or a guys' trip to Las Vegas. And I know that's going to make you seem like the killjoy and you'll probably be called a prude and all this stuff, but do we want to please God or do we want to please man? Number three, we need to find ways of distraction. Oftentimes these images pop into our heads when we are bored or stressed. And these feelings cause us to give into the images and enjoy them. Remember, it's not a sin to be tempted. It is a sin to delight in the temptation and to want it and then to give in to it. When these things come along, it's best to move. Yes, you heard that right. Move. Go exercise. Take a walk and listen to a religious podcast like this one. Go somewhere to pray. Call a friend. Finish a chore. Go run an errand. Put on a song you enjoy to distract your mind. But most importantly, we need to pray for graces. Pray for help, just like St. Augustine does here, to move past these images. These are just some helpful tips. You won't ever be able to eradicate your mind from those things. That's what purgatory is for. It's something to keep in mind, that the more you put into your head, especially willfully, those things are going to have to be purged. You can't take those images with you into heaven. So if you're trying to minimize your time in purgatory, best to not put more of those images into your head. But you can get to a point, and this is the hopeful part, where they lessen their grip on you and you strengthen your power over them to where you can get to the point where they don't control you as much. So like for me, if images pop into my head from movies I used to watch or other things, it used to really, really bog me down and, make me dwell on that sin or just spend a lot of time thinking about it. And then I despair, like, oh, maybe they weren't forgiven and all this stuff. But I've gotten a lot better about it just because I've learned to pray or distract myself. And so they pop in my head and I know what to do. I know I need to move, I need to pray, I need to do something, and then just kind of quickly they go away. I just don't give in to the temptation. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you soon, and until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.